Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Just some admin instructions before the rally starts. Okay, so sorry, the toilets in the school compound cannot be used. Okay, so the nearest portable toilets, they are actually at my 2 o'clock, okay? You see the colorful bars over there? Okay, there are some portable toilets over there. So if you really need to use a toilet and you're willing to give up your coveted seats, okay, you can proceed there. Okay, second thing is if there is a lightning alert, okay, the rally will be suspended for your safety. Okay, sorry, I know lightning actually triggers you all. Okay, so sorry, okay. Okay, so if there is a lightning alert, please proceed in an orderly manner to the nearest HDB block for shelter, okay? Okay, I know y'all don't like lightning. What do y'all like, Hammer! Okay, so I'm going to speak in Mandarin first for the benefit of those who are more proficient in Mandarin. OK， 大家傍晚好，谢谢你们的来临。在群众大会开始之前，请注意以下的2点。很抱歉，学校的厕所不可以用了。OK， 所以如果你要用厕所的话呢，你要去那个很 colorful 的 bus，OK， 那边有几个移动的厕所 ，OK， 你们可以用那边的厕所。OK， 第2点就是，如果遇到雷雨的天气的话呢，群众大会将暂停。OK， 没有 OK， 请有秩序的前往最近的组屋楼下避雨，以确保安全。OK， 你有雨伞啊 ？OK，but lightning a bit dangerous 啦。Okay, so welcome residents of Punggol GRC, Sengkang GRC, and Jalan Kayu SMC, and friends and supporters from all over Singapore to the 3rd Workers' Party Rally for General Elections 2025. 榜儿集选区、盛港集选区、惹兰加油单选区居民，来自全岛各地的朋友们，大家晚上好。Okay, so I'm Ong Lui Ping, right? Today I'm doing my side hustle as an MC. So as you can hear, it is really a side hustle, huh? Okay, so I wish you will give your strongest support to our speakers tonight. Okay, so stay tuned for very rousing and inspiring speeches from my fellow colleagues behind. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker of the night. Okay, he is Mr. Abdul Muhaimin bin Abdul Malik, candidate for Sengkang GRC. Let's welcome him.
Good evening, fellow Singaporeans, and a warm hello to all tuning in. I am Muhaimin, and the Workers' Party candidate for Sengkang GRC. First and foremost, can I share a personal story? Yes or no? After 5 years of marriage, my wife and I decided we were ready to start a family. Praise be to God, we are expecting a little one soon. But why did it take us 5 years? It wasn't about the decision to have a child. It was about preparing ourselves for the challenges ahead. The rising cost of living, the pressure to plan for our child's future, work demands, and the responsibility of caring aging parents. Our story is not unique. Many younger couples today face similar challenges. For many, a pressing concern when starting a family is the cost. Right now, even preschool can cost more than your primary or secondary school fees. On paper, the fees might look manageable, but you also need to pay for milk powders, diapers, and caregiving needs. It can be a stretch financially. Today, fee caps only apply to government-supported preschools, which serve only 65% of preschoolers in 2024. And what if these centers near you are full? You are left scrambling to find another one further away. That could mean extra costs, extra time, and extra stress. That's why the Workers' Party is proposing direct vouchers that parents can use at preschools of their choice. Families deserve more flexibility in choosing early education that fits their values and needs. Because every family and child is different. And speaking of different family circumstances, let's talk about stay-at-home moms. Currently, they don't get the same preschool subsidies as working moms. But are they really not working? They are working tirelessly to build strong families and a stronger society. They are caring for elderly parents, managing the home, and raising children full-time. This is why WP calls for these subsidies to be extended to all families. Many of these stay-at-home moms face difficult choice between work and caregiving. Some didn't really have a choice. But what happened when they step away to be full-time caregivers? Many lose out, not just in income, but on subsidies, retirement savings, and career progressions. And they continue to lose out even when they are ready to return to work. Many face real struggles. Some have been on the workforce, some have been for years, so their skills may be outdated, but support for their return is limited. My fellow Singaporeans, much more can be done to reintegrate caregivers into workforce, such as tax relief to supportive employers, government-supported paid return-to-work programs that guarantee a permanent job at the end. Stepping away to care for loved ones should not be a step back. And it's not just about career breaks. Even taking time off to care for a sick child can feel like a penalty. Right now, both parents get just 12 days of childcare leave, combined for the whole year. But what if the child often falls sick, or for longer periods of time? Do the parents step on unpaid infant care leave and annual leave? Why should raising a child come at the cost of unpaid leave? Why should parents have to sacrifice their annual leave, which they may also need to care for their elderly parents, or even just to rest and recharge themselves? If we truly want to be a Singapore that supports families, parents should not have to choose between jobs, their children, and their well-being. We need policies that support families holistically, and that means valuing both children and the people raising them. We know that when the people in real life, if you believe that families deserve better support, I hope you'll give us your trust. Don't worry you're voting for opposition because your vote is secret. Rakyat Singapura yang saya hormati, Assalamualaikum. Saya faham masih ada yang bimbang tentang kerahsiaan undi. Bila anda terima kertas undi nanti, di belakang kertas itu ada nombor siri. Kenapa belakang kertas ini ada nombor siri? Boleh ke nanti pemerintah cek undian saya? Nombor siri itu adalah untuk melindungi proses pengundian dan bukan untuk mengesan undian anda. Apabila kertas undi dikira, dan PAP akan ada untuk memastikan kiraan yang bersih dan adil. Selepas itu, kertas undi akan disimpan di mahkamah 6 bulan dan hanya boleh dikeluarkan dengan perintah mahkamah jika ada isu penipuan. Ini tidak pernah berlaku di Singapura. Selepas 6 bulan, kertas undi akan dimusnahkan secara rasmi di depan semua parti politik, termasuk Parti Pekerja. Jadi, jangan bimbang tentang kerahsiaan undi anda. Jika anda percaya WP boleh membawa kehidupan yang lebih baik untuk masa depan anda, undilah kami tanpa rasa takut. Undilah Parti Pekerja, bekerja untuk Singapura. Vote for Workers' Party and you'll never walk alone. Because we are working for Singapore. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Muhaimin, for that very moving speech. Next up, we have a former keyboard warrior turned politician, Mr. Jackson Ao Chi Ming, candidate from Punggol GRC. Please welcome him.
Together, standing shoulder to shoulder with the trusted leadership of our PAP team. Tonight, I call on you, stand up with PAP. Let's defend the peace we fought hard to build. Let's grow an even stronger, more caring Pasir Ris Changi community. And together, let's march forward with courage, with unity, and with hope into the future. Majulah PAP!
Thank you, Chris. Next up, this speaker is no stranger. Please give it up for Uza Daniel.
Testing. Salam sejahtera puan-puan, tuan-tuan dan semua sahabat saya. Apa khabar? Good evening, my friends and residents of Pasir Ris and Changi. My name is Daniel. I'm your MC for today, and today I stand here proud as the true son and anak of Pasir Ris Changi. From 2016 to 2019, I lived around Loyang Rise, a small kampung within Changi. I still remember the many neighborly invites and greetings, even by Dr. Maliki himself, during one Hari Raya visit. And even back then, Pasir Ris and Changi felt like brother and sister, macam adik-beradik. And as fate will have it, we are now one GRC, one family, satu GRC, satu keluarga. In 2019, I moved to Pasir Ris with just my mom to take care of my late grandparents. It wasn't easy, just the two of us, but through PAP's appeal, we managed to get a helper during the toughest COVID restrictions. And from the moment we moved in, we were met with kindness and support from our neighbors. I'll never forget one day my late grandma collapsed. Our Chinese neighbor didn't even hesitate. He rushed in, dia masuk dengan keberanian, and stayed by her side until the ambulance came. Now that's the true kampung spirit of Pasir Ris. Unchanged, intact, semangat kampung yang sebenar. Just look around you here now. Regardless of race, we stand as one Pasir Ris Changi united, nurtured through generations of PAP's leadership. My late grandpa also had strong roots here. He was a nurse, just like I am now, working at the old Changi Hospital. And apart from the many ghost stories he would like to scare me with, he was a proud PAP supporter. He will help at the then Changi MPS, ferry seniors to polling stations in his own car for elections. Today, I stand here holding his torch, serving MPS weekly and helping our residents. Sekarang, saya menyambungkan warisan atuk saya sebagai penyokong PAP untuk membantu rakyat kita. I'm grateful to be living in Pasir Ris Changi. Who here isn't? We've got beautiful upgraded park, HDB, estates, and a new bus interchange. And for those of you who like to makan, we even have McDonald's, 7 of them, just in Pasir Ris and Changi Village. But jokes aside, beyond all these massive upgrades pushed by our PAP MPs, there's also invisible work behind the scenes. I have seen it. SMTO, Mr. Sharil, Mr. Desmond, working tirelessly at MPS Weekly, helping families, tackling tough cases, staying past midnight. Menteri-menteri kita bekerja keras sampai tengah malam pun untuk demi rakyat kita. And to Senior Minister, I and many others are indebted to him for his mentorship, his sincerity, and his heart for people. And as he passes the baton to Minister Indrani, I am proud to stand beside. She is a leader who has done so much for seniors and families in Tanjung Pagar, and Valerie, who brings new energy and kampung spirit to the team with a long track record in serving the community. The new PAP team is here to fight for us, to earn our trust, because this is a team that listens, that works hard, not just for 9 days in an election, but for years, for generations. So tonight, I humbly seek your support to ask for your vote, because in turbulent times, the PAP don't back down. They stand steady, firm hearts, clear eyes. Vote for a team that has built, has fought, has stayed with you, not through opposition experiments, division, or empty promises. Let's fight for our future together. Thank you, everyone. Majulah Singapura!
Thank you, Daniel. Next up, we have Mr. Eugene Low.
各位巴西利樟宜的居民们，晚上好！大家好唔好？好高興見到今晚咁多人嚟到現場。我嘅名是 Eugene， 我是潮州人，我到這個嘅客人到巴西利已經徛了有30多年嘅時間。我是一個自豪的新加坡人，在這裡出生，在這裡成長，受教育。 我的专业是个教育家，但日常生活中、私底下，我扮演的跟很多人一样，是一个普通家庭的儿子和父亲的角色。和你们很多人一样呢，我亲眼见证了这个家园多年来的发展和演变。我还记得早年我刚搬到巴西利的时候呢，巴西利只是一个安静的海滨小镇。 但今天的巴西利呢，真的跟以往比非常不同，你们同意吗？我今晚站在这里呢，是因为我相信巴西利的未来，相信未来的巴西利可以继续成为我2个孩子的美好家园。像任何父母亲一样，我希望他们继承的不仅仅是一栋房子，而是一个繁荣的社区，一个安全的环境。 以及一个为他们提供一切发展机会的城镇，巴西利所经历的进步和转变，它并非偶然，这需要远见、奉献精神，以及一支真正关心我们社区以及它未来发展的领导团队。而这个领导团队呢，正是我们的人民行动党团队。因此，我在此感谢他们为我们所做的一切，我衷心感谢他们一直基于使巴西利成为幼、中、年老人的美好家园。巴西利樟宜的市容的绿化， 居住的娱乐设施的完善，以及与全岛各地连接性的改善呢，都是我们有目共睹的。人民行动党急于改善我们的居住环境，也急于照顾我们最弱势的居民。他们进行了无数次的居民家访、对话和定期的见面会，体现了他们对解决我们小市民面临的问题和挑战的真心关怀和承诺。我们今晚会听到各个不同讲述者说到他们切实生活中的种种事件跟小故事，每一个故事都证明了人民行动党员对巴西利张仪的社区人民坚定不移的承诺。世界正在急速变化中，在暴风雨笼罩的大环境下呢，我们更加需要能够预测未来挑战、能实干的领导团队。为了我家的2个好儿子，为了我们所有孩子的未来，我选择支持人民行动党，因为他们以过去的信誉证明了他们自己，赢得了我和我家人的信任，也展示了他们坚持承诺的努力，并为我们的国家、我的家，还有我的孩子制定了可持续的未来计划。我不知道你们怎么想，但我不想，也不愿意拿我的未来，还有我孩子们的未来来做赌注，来做冒险。所以我恳求你们支持由英兰妮部长、陈国民先生、Shario 先生和 Valerie 李女士所组成的新巴西利张仪团队，让我们授权他们继续做好我们的工作，在已经奠定多年基础上再接再厉，并为我的孩子和你们的未来子孙们确保更美好的未来。兄弟们、姐妹们，跟我一起高喊一句 Majula PAP！ 谢谢大家。
Thank you, Eugene. Our next speaker is also no stranger to some of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Jacqueline Fernandez.
Dear neighbor, friends and residents of Pasir Ris and Changi, good evening. Jiran dan rakan-rakan yang dihormati dan penduduk Pasir Ris dan Changi, selamat petang. Pasir Ris has been my home for the past 27 years. It is a town that was always felt quiet and serene. Both my children attended Elias Primary School, and I felt truly blessed to be a full-time mother while knowing that everything I needed was within reach. I've watched this town grow, and I've always felt the warmth of a close-knit community till this very day. However, life does not go as planned. 5 years ago, my family faced a difficult division. I had to forge my own path due to circumstances beyond my control. I made the decision to keep my home and care for my children, wanting nothing more. It wasn't easy, especially when it came to transferring the ownership of my home back to my name. Like anyone in such a situation, I experienced my share of pain and uncertainty. With my parents and siblings no longer here for support, I sought the help of my local members of parliament, my MPs. It was during the COVID pandemic that I felt especially isolated, unable to voice my struggles publicly. I poured my feelings onto paper and sent an email detailing my situation, hoping to be heard. To my surprise, an activist reached out to me the very next day to validate my concerns. I was informed that an MP would be in touch soon. It was Mr. Desmond Tan. Mr. Desmond Tan understood my struggle to convey my thoughts. He recognized how much I wanted to keep my home. I remember hanging on to that video call, unsure of what to expect. Then he said, "I will take care of it." Just 2 days later, I received a call from HDB asking me to sign the papers for my house. The house was mine. I share my story with you to illustrate, as long as you stand firm in your convictions, the People's Action Party will stand by you and support you. You don't have to face your challenges in fear. Yes, we all encounter turbulent times, and uncertainty is part of life. But together with the right support, we can overcome these obstacles. I want to emphasize that PAP is the government we need for our future. Their unwavering commitment to our families, our communities, and our nation has been proven time and time again. They have consistently worked hard to create opportunities for every Singaporean and to ensure that our voices are heard. With their experience and dedication, we can trust them to lead us through challenges and into a brighter tomorrow. Let us stand together and make the choice for stability, progress, and unity. Together, let's support the PAP as they are the partner we need in building a stronger, better Singapore for ourselves and for the generations to come. Saya ingin mengingatkan bahawa PAP adalah kerajaan yang kita perlukan untuk masa depan kita. Mereka sentiasa berkomitmen kepada keluarga, komuniti dan negara kita. PAP telah banyak berusaha untuk memberikan peluang kepada semua rakyat Singapura dan memastikan suara kita didengar. Dengan pengalaman dan dedikasi mereka, kita boleh percaya mereka untuk memimpin kita melalui cabaran dan menuju masa depan yang lebih baik. Together, we can face any challenge with hope and resilience. I believe with the support of our candidates, Minister Indrani, Mr. Desmond Tan, Mr. Sharil, and Ms. Valerie Lee of the People's Action Party, we will have the government that listens, cares, and stands by its people for Pasir Ris Changi. Let us bring forth the government of the PAP. Majulah PAP!
Thank you, Jacqueline. Next up, please give a warm round of applause to Miss Vigneshwari.
என் அன்பான பாசரிஸ் சாங்கி மக்களுக்கும் நண்பர்களுக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பெயர் விக்னேஸ்வரி. உங்களில் நான் ஒருவராக இந்த மேடையில் நின்று பேசுவது எனக்கு மிக பெருமையாக இருக்கிறது. பாசரிஸ் எனக்கு வெறும் ஒரு இடம் மட்டுமில்லை, என் மனதில் இணைந்த இல்லம். கடந்த 30 வருடங்களாக இங்கே வசித்து வருகிறேன். இந்த வட்டாரம் காலப்போக்கில் மிகப்பெரிய அளவில் வளர்ச்சி அடைந்துள்ளது. இங்கே வசிக்கும் அனைவரையும் நான் மனதார மதிக்கிறேன். நான் இங்கே வளர்ந்தேன். என் 4 பிள்ளைகளையும் இங்கே தான் வளர்க்கிறேன். நான் ஒரு சமூக சேவையாளர், முதியோர்களுடன் பணியாற்றிய தாதி, செவிலியர் கல்வி ஆசிரியர். திரு டெஸ்மண்ட் தான் முதலில் அவரது வீட்டு வருகைகளின் போது சந்தித்தேன். பிறகு எடியூசேவ் விருதளிப்பு விழாவில் போது பார்த்தேன். அவருடைய எளிமையான நடத்தை, மனம் கவரும் புன்னகை, எல்லோரிடமும் பண்புடன் பேசுவது அனைத்தும் என் மனதிலும் என் குடும்பத்தினரின் மனதிலும் ஆழமாக பதிந்துள்ளது. அவர் எப்போதும் நம்மிடம் பணிவாக இருந்தார். இதனால் நமக்கு மதிப்பும் ஊக்கமும் கிடைத்தது. என் பிள்ளைகளும் சமூக சேவையில் ஈடுபட ஆரம்பித்தனர். அதற்கு பெரும்பாலும் அவரே ஊக்கம் தந்தார். என் மூத்த மகள் சமூக சேவையில் கலந்து கொண்டு கருணையும் சேவையின் அருமையும் உணர ஆரம்பித்தாள். இதுதான் அவளுக்கு பள்ளியில் தலைமை வகிக்க உதவியது. திரு டஸ்மன் தான் அளித்த ஊக்கமும் ஆதரவும் என் 4 பிள்ளைகளுக்கும் மிகப்பெரிய அளவில் மனதில் பதிந்துள்ளது. நீங்கள் கேட்பீர்கள், நம்முடைய கணங்கள், சவால்கள் மற்றும் சிந்தனைகள் இவை எல்லாம் மக்கள் செயல் கட்சிக்கு கேட்கப்படுகிறதா? என் பதில் ஆமாம்.
Now, so this GE, make your vote count. Vote the Workers' Party. Vote for the party that is always ready to work for Singapore. Thank you. Thank you, Kenneth. Okay, just an appeal before the next speaker. For those seated in the middle of the field, can you please stand up? Please stand up. Those seated in the middle of the field. Yes, middle, yeah. Okay, stand up and take a step forward so that your fellow Workers' Party supporter at the back can move forward. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Thank you for showing the Singapore spirit. Okay, please be careful, stay safe. Just move forward slowly. Thank you very much. And for those behind who can't hear the speeches well, please turn on the live streaming on your handphone to hear our passions better. Okay, next up, our Kaki Nang, Mr. Louis Chua Keng Wee from the Sengkang GRC.
Good evening, voters of Sengkang GRC, Bongo GRC, and Jalan Kayu SMC. First, I wish to say thank you to every Sengkang resident who has given me your support and the WP Sengkang team your support since the last election. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your trust. And today I stand before you again because our work is not finished. We need to keep pushing for a fairer Singapore, a more livable Singapore, and to do this, we need your support to keep opposition voices and WP MPs in Parliament. Allow me to speak in Mandarin today. 各位选民朋友，大家晚上好。我是工人党盛港集选区的候选人蔡庆威。今天我要谈一谈市政理事会的事宜。5年前，盛港集选区根本不存在。5年前，工人党刚刚接手盛港，必须在疫情下建立一个全新的市政理事会，并且合并2个完全不同的市政理事会和管理团队。更糟糕的是，当时的2家管理代理公司又不肯续约，是不是很耳熟啊？好，我尽量了哦，拍谁啊？ 所以我们的团队必须直接接管市政理事会。虽然我们面对一波又一波的挫折，我们始终没有想过放弃，因为我们在2020年答应了盛港居民，不管你们当时把票投给谁，只要是盛港的居民，我们一定会为你打拼。5年后，我很高兴的可以大大声声的和大家说，我们是全新加坡管理的最好的市政理事会之一。在市政理事会的管理报告，英文是 TCMR 的运营报告，我们的市政清洁获得评级，我们的设施维护也一直获得绿色的评级。当然，我们的电梯服务也一直获得绿色的评级。从治理的角度来看，盛港市政理事会与阿育尼后港市政理事会一样，都从2021到2023年的所有3个市政理事会财务和管理报告中都获得了持续的绿色评级。在这3年，盛港市政理事会也是全新加坡16个市政理事会中，仅有8个完全没有违反市政理事会法或市政理事会财务规则的市政理事会之一。所以当 PAP 政府恐吓你说，如果你把票投给工人党，你们将会付出代价，你们就不会有盖走廊，你们的物价就会大跌，这些都是假的。我反而还担心啊，为什么在盛港一间3房式主屋都要54万，一间5房式主屋都要70多万，甚至从去年开始有100多万的政府主屋啊，在盛港100多万啊，这才吓死人，对不对？所以Jalan Kayu的选民，你们不必担心。如果我的同事刘宇阳成功当选，盛港市政理事会有信心可以把你的市政管理得好。毕竟，Fernville 本来就是盛港的一部分，连地址都叫新港 West， 对不对？同样的呢，榜儿的选民，你们也不必担心，因为我们工人党有着34年管理后港的经验，14年管理阿育尼选区，和在盛港设立了5年的市政理事会。那让我以方言简单的跟大家总结一下，好吗？其实呢是真简单嘅事啦。阮工人党永远会为新加坡人打拼，因为阮做嘅每项物件，拢是为着你啦。各位選民，你哋唔使驚。你哋都冇咩好驚，等我哋繼續為你服務。所以調轉話啦，唔使買單嘛，對不？成間幫我嘅Jalan Kayu嘅雙面，你外勢放心，請到工人黨一票，感謝大家。
you, Kak Kinang. Okay, so we hear that in Sengkang GRC, our town council is all green. But for Bongo and Jalan Kayu SMC, we want to turn them from green to... Yes, okay, so next up, we have Siti Alia binti Abdul Rahim Mata, candidate from Bongo GRC.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Alia Matar, Jackson and Harpreet. We are a solid team running for Bongo GRC. When I graduated from law school, I went into litigation. After 2 years, I decided this was not for me. So I took a leap of faith and moved into financial law, something that was completely new and unfamiliar to me. Since then, I have spent 8 years as legal counsel in the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and when I left, I continued to stay in the financial industry. While Punggol may be new to us, the ideas and aspirations of Punggol residents are very familiar. Like many of you, I am a parent. I look after my aged parent, also like many of you. In our engagements with you, Punggol residents, you voiced many concerns, including transport woes, internet connectivity, loud jets flying overhead, rising food prices, and at the same time, you shared worries about the increasing costs and stress of bringing up children in Singapore, including those with special needs. You, like me, are concerned about the mental anxiety placed on our children with the existing pressure cooker system of education. Just earlier today, I met a Punggol resident, a caregiver to her 22-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy. Her joint household income means that she is not qualified for some subsidies, and yet the cost of medical equipment for her child is much more due to her special needs. Not to mention the mental state of her as a parent with a child of special needs. Children need support, but so do caregivers, something we sometimes forget. Our senior citizens, they are anxious about rising medical costs. Many of them do not have a steady income. They are concerned about having to pay GST on parts of their medication, having their Medisave capped to a certain amount, even for chronic conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, whose money is in our CPF accounts? Whose money is in our Medisave accounts? It is our hard-earned money, meant to pay for our medical costs in our old age. This is not asking for handouts. It is trying to take care of ourselves with our own money. Ladies and gentlemen, there was an article recently by Tan Swee Chia, former Group Chief Executive of NTUC Enterprises, and let me quote him. "We live in a troubled world. Citizens must speak up on matters that affect our collective future, especially when decisions are taken in our name. These are not acts of division, they are acts of care for our country and for the institutions we rely upon." We keep hearing the term behind closed doors, that heated debates and discussions had already taken place behind closed doors, that some people have friends in higher places where they can ask for special help, even for national programs apparently. Is this right? Can you accept this? This is our nation. We are the stakeholders. Involve us in the decisions, especially when they are taken in our name and on our behalf. This term, behind closed doors, should be retired, should it not? The Workers' Party is transparent. We are open. We say what we do, and we do what we say. Our policies are based on what Singaporeans, the stakeholders of our nation, are asking for. We are a party that accepts the diversity of Singapore because we know what unites us matters way more than what divides. So ladies and gentlemen, Punggol voters, it is time for change. Vote the Workers' Party, working for Singapore. A few words in Malay. Penduduk-penduduk Punggol, saya nak tekankan 3 perkara saja hari ini. 1, kalau kita Parti Pekerja diundi masuk rancangan peringkat kebangsaan atau National Level Plans seperti Daerah Digital Punggol, masih akan diteruskan. Jangan bimbang. Rancangan peringkat kebangsaan adalah untuk semua, bukan hanya kawasan tertentu. 2, kalau kita Parti Pekerja diundi masuk, kita akan adakan platform-platform untuk berbincang dengan penduduk Punggol GRC sendiri untuk memahami apa yang perlu dibuat dan diperbaiki. Jangan takut, jangan bimbang. Parti kita ada banyak pengalaman dari tim Hougang, tim Aljunied dan tim Sengkang. 3, dengan Parti Pekerja, kita tak perlu bincang-bincang belakang tabir. Kita tak ada kawan-kawan yang berpengaruh yang kita boleh meminta bantuan khas untuk program kebangsaan. Kita akan sentiasa berbincang dengan anda. Kita akan membawa suara anda ke Parlimen. Parti Pekerja Telus, kita sentiasa terbuka. Kita akan sentiasa bekerja sama dengan anda. Berilah kami peluang untuk menjadi suara anda. Undilah Parti Pekerja, bekerja untuk Singapura. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alia, for the very open speech. Okay, good evening, everyone. We are currently at maximum capacity for this rally site. Thank you so much for your support. But we are unable to admit any more people into the rally. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. Please continue to support us by watching the live streaming on your mobile phones. Okay, next up, okay, our very own Opa, James Jerome Lim.
Good evening to our 200. Thank you. Good evening to our 280,000 bosses from Sengkang, Punggol, and Jalan Kayu SMC. The past few years, an easy time for we watch as prices surge on things that we eat, use, and depend on. Char kway teow, geh ham, used to be $3, but it's now $4 or $5. A full tank is now $100 or more. So riding the bus or taking a taxi is more expensive. Bills from the electricity company, the tutor, the doctor are all up. Good luck finding your own place or upgrading with million-dollar HDB flats. What has the PAP done to help you cope with this rising cost of living? It is now a standard playbook. They give out ever more vouchers. More SG60 vouchers, CDC vouchers, GST vouchers, USAVE vouchers. For companies, it's also more of the same. More tax breaks, more tax relief. Many Singaporeans rightly judge that such measures are short-term, address only the symptoms, and hence deeply unsatisfactory. We would rather lift ourselves up than to feel patronized and dependent on the system where we need handouts. These may be necessary in emergencies like COVID-19, but a continued dependence on them suggests a problem with the system itself. Reducing the burden of regulation and taxes is surely welcome, especially for struggling small businesses. But to keep coddling rich multinationals cheapens our country's value proposition. What is worse, the government has only added fuel to the flame of rising costs. They insisted on raising GST in 2023 when inflation was already raging and when there were easily other sources of revenue available. They've been slow to release more vehicle quotas, even in a low-volume year, thereby allowing COE prices to escalate to as much as $150,000. And they're stubbornly stuck to a land pricing formula that embeds the price of land into public housing valuations, effectively passing on the potential bubble in land prices onto resale HDB flats. But the PAP seems to have no better ideas on how to address these problems other than more handouts and more vouchers. High cost of living aren't just because the world at large has experienced post-pandemic inflation. High cost of living in Singapore are as much a homemade structural problem, demanding structural solutions since they were manufactured by the PAP. Think about HDB. Conceived in good faith, it served our nation's housing needs for more than a century. But owning our homes is now a juggling act, a balance between affordable housing, enough returns for retirement, and having a roof over our heads. Like any juggling act, however, these balls will eventually come crashing down. These competing goals are fundamentally irreconcilable, and the way the government has tried to square this circle has been to give ever greater grants and subsidies to new homeowners. But this fosters a rentier mindset. People buy and flip, cashing out after the MOP. Yet speculation breeds more speculation, since sellers know that the government will make up the shortfall. The MND budget gets redder and redder. But apparently, this is prudent policy, whereas pricing land less is raiding the reserves. And high land valuations don't just affect the prices of our homes. Costly land means high rents, and high rents are killing our companies. The government says that rents are only a small part of business costs, but they do not affect food prices. But they fail to see that rent gets passed through to everything else without acknowledging that their land policy is a problem. How can the PAP solve the problem of high cost of living? Now that prices are already high, the only way we can all cope with the rising cost of living is to have our incomes rise. We will then worry less if our salaries have adjusted accordingly. But the government has been too passive in urging businesses to embrace the sorely needed adjustment. They've worked with the National Wages Council to issue guidelines for raising salaries, but only for lower wage workers. Yet the rest of us face high prices too. And for the retired, they have stubbornly refused to adjust how CPF pays interest, even as retirees' hard-earned nest eggs are eaten up. This government needs to take stronger leadership on the economy and make sure that the overdue increase in our incomes comes sooner rather than later. The decades and decades of parliamentary supermajority that the PAP has enjoyed has bred policy complacency, intellectual stagnation, and unimaginative thinking. This is no longer your father and my grandfather's PAP. The modern PAP has shown itself bereft of good ideas and necessary reforms that are able to address the complex and evolving problems of the 21st century. Now, the PAP calls for unity. The Workers' Party believes in a united Singapore. But we cannot, we must not blindly unite in voting for the PAP. If we did, we will be trapped with the same old ideas and lack of diversity needed for problems that demand permanent structural solutions. Some have suggested that the PAP is trying to conjure up the politics of fear to scare voters into choosing a safe harbor in turbulent times. But my fear is more a parliament dominated by only one way of thinking and looking at the world, which will only mean disaster for the future of our country. How can we be sure that a one-party government will take your concerns seriously if we aren't there to speak truth to power? How can we be certain that highly paid ministers are not subject to groupthink and disconnected from the things that truly matter on the ground, to know that there were for ourselves and our children when Singaporeans are not choking under the pressure of high prices and high costs? We need fresh ideas and new perspectives for our changed world. The Workers' Party has consistently championed innovative policy proposals in Parliament. The PAP dismisses our arguments, calling them theoretical or irrelevant. But then 10 or 20 years later, they show up in government policy. Let us be your voices that the government can no longer choose to ignore. Voices that know how you feel because we talk to you. We listen and we learn. Voices that empathize with your struggles because we feel them too. Voices that don't just go with what this government wants, but what the people you want. These are the voices of the people and the Workers' Party, working for you, working for Singapore.
Okay, thank you, James. Next up, a candidate who is no stranger to all of you. Our very own Alexis Deng Pei Yuan, candidate for Punggol GRC.
"我是你们的候选人滕佩元，很高兴能够再次的站在这里跟大家对话，分享我的心路历程。2020年，我第一次加入工人党，担任义工，做过家访、选晚宴司仪、中文翻译， 当党第一次问我有没有意愿从政时，我一开始是犹豫的。作为一位女性，放弃隐私，接受公众的检视，绝非一件简单的事。身边的朋友也劝我不要走这条路，因为一旦开始，就没有办法回头。这个决定，我思考了很久，最终让我下定决心的，是因为我发现，我在乎的并不是得失，而是对错。对我来说，今个社会就是一件正确的事。很多人问我，如果想为民服务，为什么不加入执政党，走一条康庄大道？为什么要选择工人党，走一条崎岖小路？今天，我想用这5年来作为义工的感想、所见所闻，回答大家。我看到的是，在这繁荣表象下，贫富差距扩大，弱势群体对梦想的无能为力。我看到的是年轻学子过早背负起对未来的焦虑，孩子们在课业压力下流泪挣扎。我看到的是执政党高枕无忧，而工人党议员在巨大压力下依然坚持信念，一家一家的帮助居民。我在乎的不是我的团队是不是常胜军，而是我加入的团队能不能确保没有一个需要帮助的人会被遗忘。这几天，我们走访了榜鹅，感受到大家的热情与殷切期盼。我们听到的诉求很实际：婴幼儿托管、幼儿园、运动设施、乐龄活动空间不足，巴士路线少，网络信号弱，有盖走道不完善，这也包括学校内走道，而不仅仅是严副总理所说的，因为榜儿拥有很多的绿地。如果工人党有幸赢得选举，我们将会第一时间着手改善这些问题，复制阿育尼以及盛港的优质市政管理经验，确保榜儿居民的生活品质有增无减，让政府已经规划的新项目顺利推进，不受干扰。此外，我们也将继续在国会中为大家发声，推动切实减轻民众负担的政策，包括1. 为基本生活用品取消消费税，缓解榜儿的高食品价格压力； 2. 推动更多的育儿假，支持有多个年幼子女的家庭； 3. 为支持看护者重返就业的企业提供税务减免； 4. 更新学校课程，帮助年轻人更好地融入未来职场。这只是我们努力推动的一部分政策，未来我们也会继续在国会为民发声，捍卫多元声音，请大家给我们一个机会，为榜儿民众服务，也为国效力。谢谢。Okay, I'll use English to speak a few words now. Good evening, Punggol residents. It's been a real pleasure meeting so many of you over the past few days. We are truly humbled by your warmth and honesty. Thank you for sharing your concerns with us. If given the chance to act as a At the last PAP rally, Ms. Sun Xueling said, "We do not need strangers to come to Punggol." May I ask, is she referring to DPM Gan Kim Yong too? Or is he exempted because he is good friend of PM Lawrence Wong? Before last Friday, I was an ordinary citizen just like you, and I have deep respect for our country's leaders. But when I hear statements like, I will talk to my good friend, it reflects a troubling reality about our politics today. Is this the kind of leadership that we want to endorse? Is this the political culture we want to pass on to our children? Where success isn't about fairness, but about connections? In another speech, our retiring DPM Heng Swee Keat said, look at countries that have diverse parties. What do? They talk. Nothing gets done. But why are we only comparing with countries that falter? Why do we assume Singaporeans aren't smart enough to chart our own unique political path? If we use that logic, does it mean that we shouldn't be asking for salary increment just because there are other people who earn less? We deserve better, and we can do better. In GE2020, PAP parachuted DPM Heng Swee Keat into East Coast GRC. Forcing voters into a difficult choice between more balanced politics and keeping a future PM. East Coast voters made that sacrifice. But where is East Coast plan today? Is he even our Prime Minister now? And again, they are trying to pull the same stunts in Punggol, forcing you into a corner. Is it really that wrong to want a more balanced parliament? If we allow this tactic to succeed again, make no mistake, it will be repeated at the expense of all Singaporeans. Punggol residents, whether you are here with us today or you are in front of your screen if you are watching this, you've asked for a credible opposition and we have answered. We have fielded a very good team here, a solid team. So, I urge all of you, say no to using key government figures as political pawns. Say no to being forced into difficult choices when all we want is progress. Say no to falling for the same trick twice because we deserve better. Harpreet, Jackson, Alia, and I have stepped up for you. Punggol residents, it's now your turn to step up for all Singaporeans. No to the Workers' Party working for Singapore. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the support.
虽然我们正式成为白沙樟宜集选区，是有短短的几个星期，但是我们觉得有这个感觉，好像一个大家庭一样。我也要感谢我们的同事孟里奇 Dr. Maliki 博士，这些年来为我们樟宜的居民照顾得非常非常好。我能很安心的卸任白沙议员，因为我知道有一个很能干和经验丰富的团队，继续会照顾我们白沙跟樟宜的居民。大家都认识陈国明、沙利尔，但还有李乃仪也是来参加我们的新团体。我们也欢迎英兰尼 Indrani。我们把他从建国总理李光耀先生的选区拉过来这边，照顾我们这边的居民，好不好？他带领我们的团队照顾我们的居民。亲爱的居民，在过去的28年里，我最欣慰的是看见你们的孩子健康长大，成家立业，而许多也成为祖父、祖母。如果呢，我有任何做的不足够，或没有达到您的要求的地方，请接受我最衷心的道歉。白沙樟宜这些年来进步了很多，请我们给白沙樟宜的新团队您最大力的支持，这样一来，我们就会创造更美好、更有凝聚力的樟宜集选区。请你的票投给人民行动党，谢谢大家。Dear residents of Pasir Ris, thank you for your kindness, your support and friendship over the 28 years that it's been my honor and my privilege to have served you and to have grown up together with you. We have shared our joys together and also overcome difficult times together. And each time we have come out stronger in our commitment to build a stronger Pasir Ris community, a more united and harmonious one. I am also happy to welcome our Changi residents. We have been officially married together as Pasir Ris Changi for just a few weeks. But I feel that we have already known each other for a long time. And I thank Dr. Maliki for looking after them so well and helping to make this transition such a smooth one for our activists as well as our residents. I have met many residents who have actually moved between Pasir Ris and Changi over many years and have relatives on both sides as well. So we are really now one big family. As I step down as your Member of Parliament, I bring with me many memories and many treasured friendships. And I can step down with peace of mind because I know that I leave you in good hands with a strong team in place who are ready to look after you with all their heart, with all their strength. Desmond Tan and Cheryl you know well already, and they are joined by Valerie Lee. You can hear them afterwards and see for yourself the people that we have for you. And of course, we welcome Ms. Indrani Raja to lead this wonderful team. We managed to bring her over from Mr. Lee's former ward in Tanjong Pagar to lead the team that looks after all of you here in Pasir Ris Changi. She has a number of wonderful qualities about her. She speaks Malay also, you can hear her afterwards. But that I can do also. But she sings in Cantonese, that one I cannot do. So next time you meet her, events and functions, you ask her. Sorry to trouble you, Indrani. We have made much progress in Pasir Ris Changi, and there's much more work to be done, especially as we complete our major transport links, which will bring major new connectivity for our residents. And most importantly, the team has exciting new ideas to bring our residents closer together and to meet your needs. Dear residents, my greatest joy is to have seen your children grow up and for you to have your grandchildren too. And I would like to thank my fellow colleagues who have been your MPs in the past in Pasir Ris for their friendship and all that they have done for you as well. Mr. Charles Strong, the one and only Charles Strong, who was the MP for the whole of Pasir Ris before we had Pasir Ris GRC. Ahmad Magat, who worked together with us here in Pasir Ris for many years, and Zainal Sapari as well. If I have fallen short in any area or not met all your expectations, please accept my sincere apologies. But the best way to carry on the good work that has been done here in Pasir Ris and Changi is to give your fullest, your utmost support to our renewed PAP team. So please give them your support so that together we can make Pasir Ris, Changi an even closer-knit and better town to live in. This is a time of great change and uncertainty. Many things, we don't know what will happen. Next week, 90 days, tariffs on, tariffs off, how much it is, which country. We don't know. We don't know the answers because we don't even know the questions that we have to answer. But, so how do we prepare for this? The best way to prepare for this is to have a strong and stable government who can see you through these uncertain times. PM Lawrence Wong has become our PM, new PM. He is full of energy, full of ideas. He has met many of you, young, seniors, to try to put your ideas and suggestions, your aspirations into practice to build a new Singapore together with you. He is bringing together a team with 32 new MPs to build a strong team, not just for the next 5 years, but for the next 10, 15 years, so that we have continuity and stability to see Singapore through. This is a hallmark of Singapore: continuity, stability, good government. And in these uncertain times, this is very valuable because people are looking for stability, continuity, to invest, to put their money. And if we offer that to them, then we have an advantage over others. So, vote for PM Lawrence Wong to give him the strongest possible team he can have to see us through these uncertain times and to build the future Singapore that we all want. Vote for PM Lawrence Wong. Vote for the team you have here in Pasir Ris. Vote for the PAP. 请你投行动党一票 Vote for the PAP Undilah PAP. Thank you very much. Terima kasih semua. Thank you. Now my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Maliki.
Voters of Pasir Ris Changi GRC, good evening. How's everyone doing? Good. First of all, thank you for joining us this evening at this physical rally of the newly formed Pasir Ris Changi GRC. Now, as you know, part of the GRC, the Upper Changi side, was formerly my ward in East Coast GRC. Where are you? Where are my residents? Thank you for joining us this evening. These are residents of the Flora neighborhood, from the Upper Changi neighborhood, and from the rustic Changi Village neighborhood. If the rest of Pasir Ris have not been there, you should go there. You should enjoy Changi Village. That's the place that is called your own now. And of course, Pulau Ubin. Now, friends, I've just returned from the Vatican City to attend the funeral of Pope Francis. One of the legacies of Pope Francis is his advocacy for interfaith understanding and dialogue. It was actually very surreal as I kept myself updated on the hustings happening back home, especially on mixing religion and politics and how divisive this can be. We know that we have built a harmonious society through conscious effort at separating religion from politics. We should continue our efforts at deepening our interfaith harmony through dialogues, but this should be kept separate from politics. Political parties and its candidates should not at any time advance the cause of one's religion or race to secure votes. It is only, let me repeat myself. Give me a minute, yeah? Not very savvy with technology. So as I mentioned earlier, it will only lead to greater divisiveness that will threaten the harmony we have painstakingly built over the years. We therefore must reject any calls for race and religion to enter the political space in Singapore to divide all of us. What we must support is a politics based on core principles of justice, equality, and meritocracy. The PAP has been governing Singapore for the last 60 years on these key principles. Understanding this delicate balance of a multiracial and multi-religious society in a small island like Singapore, the PAP acknowledges the importance of engaging all communities regularly, particularly the minority community. So allow me, for this part of my speech, to address in Malay. Sejak mula lagi, PAP telah menolak politik berdasarkan kaum kerana ia tahu ini akan memecah belahkan masyarakat kita. Kita tahu itu sebab utama kita berpisah daripada Malaysia pada tahun 1965. Sejak kemerdekaan negara kita, PAP akur pentingnya mendekati dan memenuhi keperluan dan aspirasi masyarakat minoriti Singapura. Khususnya, PAP begitu prihatin terhadap keperluan masyarakat Melayu Islam Singapura. Seawal 1966, pemerintah PAP ketika itu telah meluluskan Akta Pentadbiran Undang-Undang Islam atau AMLA yang telah membuka jalan kepada penubuhan 3 institusi utama masyarakat kita, iaitu Majlis Ugama Islam Singapura MUIS, Mahkamah Syariah dan Pejabat Pendaftaran Pernikahan Islam atau RUMM. Menerusi amla juga, kita telah dapat secara sistematik mengumpul dana untuk pembangunan masjid dan masyarakat atau MBMF. Ini bermakna walaupun kita sebuah masyarakat minoriti, masyarakat Islam di Singapura dapat memenuhi keperluan keagamaan kita dengan sokongan pemerintah PAP yang telah mengagihkan sumber pemerintah kepada masyarakat Islam untuk memenuhi keperluan kita. Ini berbeza jika dibandingkan dengan masyarakat minoriti Islam di negara-negara lain. Ramai pengunjung yang datang ke sini untuk menghadiri persidangan ICOS kagum apabila mereka sedari apa yang telah disediakan oleh pemerintah Singapura untuk masyarakat Islam kita. Walaupun satu masyarakat yang minoriti, keperluannya diiktiraf dan disokong sebuah pemerintah sekular. Masyarakat Islam kita telah menunjukkan perkembangan yang memberangsangkan selama 6 dekad ini. Misalnya, menerusi MUIS, kutipan zakat telah naik daripada 31.8 juta dolar pada tahun 2014 kepada 72.2 juta dolar pada tahun 2024, lebih daripada 2 kali ganda. MBMF bukan saja dapat memastikan pembinaan dan peningkatan naik taraf masjid-masjid kita, ia juga memastikan program-program sosial Yayasan Mendaki dapat dilaksanakan untuk membantu masyarakat kita serta menyokong sistem madrasah sepenuh masa kita. MUIS juga sedang dalam proses meningkatkan sektor agama dalam ia melaksanakan saranan-saranan jawatan kuasa untuk asatizah masa depan yang juga disokong pemerintah. Selain MUIS, mutu sistem Mahkamah Syariah kita di Singapura juga mendapat pengiktirafan dengan kunjungan delegasi-delegasi daripada negara jiran kita seperti Malaysia dan Brunei untuk meninjau dan mempelajari sistem guaman syariah di Mahkamah Syariah kita. Sebagai pertubuhan bantu diri, Mendaki juga menerima sokongan dana dari pemerintah untuk mempertingkatkan prestasi para penuntut kita. Kita sudah melihat banyak kemajuan termasuk peratusan mereka yang mempunyai kelulusan universiti, bilangan penuntut Melayu yang meraih kelulusan sarjana muda kepujian kelas pertama dan bilangan para karyawan kita juga sudah meningkat. Pemerintah PAP juga bertekad tidak akan meninggalkan sesiapa di belakang. Menerusi projek Dian M Kuasa 3, kami telah mendekati keluarga muda di flat-flat sewa HDB dan menggalakkan mereka menghantar anak-anak kecil mereka ke pusat-pusat tajaka yang dibiayai pemerintah dengan yuran hanya $3 sebulan sahaja. Ini dimanfaatkan oleh ramai anak-anak kecil Melayu Islam Singapura. Hanya $3 lain dibiayai pemerintah PAP demi masa depan mereka. Inilah komitmen pemerintah PAP. PAP juga menggalakkan anggota Parlimen Melayunya mendekati berbagai kumpulan masyarakat dan kami telah bergiat melakukannya. Selama 4 tahun yang lalu, saya dan rakan-rakan telah mengadakan lebih kurang 100 sesi perbincangan khusus dengan golongan asatiza, pekerja sektor gig, sektor kewangan dan hartanah, serta pemimpin-pemimpin kesatuan sekerja. Kami menerima dan menyalurkan maklum balas mereka kepada agensi-agensi pemerintah yang berkenaan. Hadirin sekalian, memerintah sebuah negara yang kecil tanpa hasil bumi dan dalam masa yang sama menjaga keharmonian kaum bukan sesuatu yang mudah. Khususnya bagi masyarakat Melayu, saya percaya PAP lah satu-satunya parti yang mengambil berat tentang kebajikan dan kemaslahatan masyarakat minoriti kita. Masyarakat Melayu sudah menunjukkan kejayaan di banyak aspek dengan sokongan pemerintah PAP. Dan komitmen PAP terhadap masyarakat Melayu berterusan dengan pengumuman Menteri Massagus Zulkifli baru-baru ini terhadap pembangunan Kolej Pengajian Islam Singapura dengan sokongan pemerintah. Hadirin, PAP sudah bersama masyarakat Melayu Islam selama 60 tahun sejak kemerdekaan kita. Dalam dunia yang berkisar, PAP yang memaparkan barisan yang segar dengan azam yang berkobar akan cuba dan terus komited memahami, melindungi dan memenuhi keperluan masyarakat kita yang terus berubah dan membawa masyarakat kita dan negara kita ke hadapan dengan tenang, dengan yakin dan dengan berjaya. Terima kasih. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just sketched in Malay how the PAP government has been very supportive of our minority communities here in Singapore, particularly the Malay Muslim community. The Malay Muslim community has done very well under the PAP government with very positive outcomes in education and social development. The most recent development in the Malay Muslim community that received support from the government is its plans to establish the Singapore College of Islamic Studies, or SCIS, realizing the community's long-held aspirations of having our own Islamic university. The PAP government has given its full support for the establishment of the SCIS and for the SIS to have strong partnerships both locally and abroad. The government supports the vision of the SCIS to produce religious teachers and leaders who understand what is at stake in our unique context and who have the right competencies and skills to guide the community and create solutions for complex challenges in the future. The government's support is also to ensure that our Asatizas are equipped with critical skills to prepare them for good careers and employment and contribution to our society as a whole. While we are a multiracial society pillared on values of justice, equality, and meritocracy, the government recognizes the unique circumstances of each community and is committed to support them accordingly, including providing resources to ensure that each community can use its own strength to move forward. This is the party that cares, the party that has proven track record to bring Singaporeans forward together. I want to first now recognize my residents who are from the Flora and Changi area. Where are you guys? I want to address this segment of my speech to them because I've served them for many years and certainly I live with a lot of emotions. When the EBRC report was released, many of them, my residents, asked, why? They asked me why? Why do they have to move? My reply to them is that it does not matter. What matters is you are in good hands. And you will always be in good hands. For the last 14 years, I've been the one looking after you. We've gone through so much together, through thick and thin. I met you at your house visits, dialogue sessions, and many events and engagement activities. We work together. For example, we just completed the estate upgrading program at Upper Changi, where most of your requests have been acceded to. We improved connectivity to the Flora neighborhood with bus number services 4 and 5, and new bus stops at that. And soon, you will get access to the new Cross Island MRT line with 2 new stations serving you. You will also get a covered linkway from Loyang Valley MRT station all the way to Carissa Park Condominium. Not to mention the much-awaited lifts at the overhead bridge crossing Loyang Avenue, bridging literally the Changi area to the Pasir Ris area. And when the works on the Loyang Viaduct is ready, Loyang Avenue Viaduct, we can look forward to less traffic congestion along Loyang Avenue. Changi Village is so sentimental to all of us. Changi Village will see a vibrant rejuvenation following the completion of the Charmingly Changi Ideas competition by SLA and URA recently. But with any rejuvenation there, my word of advice, it must maintain its rustic charm to attract all of Singapore to Changi Village and many more outside of Singapore to Changi Village. Indeed, in the bands of a fresh team behind me here, you can expect new perspectives on how to improve your neighborhoods and communities, but with the same commitment that has led to the results you have seen in these past years. This team, the theme that is standing for election this year, will have the resolve and the strategies to work with you and realize your aspirations as a community. Dear voters, being an MP is more than just the physical upkeep and the infrastructural development. It is about connecting to all of you, listening to your concerns, bringing them to Parliament, certainly. But now you hear so much during election. You keep hearing opposition candidates saying that they want to be the voices of the people in Parliament, as though the PAP are not the voices of our residents. I have been an MP for 24 years, and the voices of my residents are loud in Parliament. We, the PAP MPs, do more than just be the voices of our people in Parliament. Really, we are more than just the voice of the people in Parliament. We also bring the voices of Parliament to the people so that we have dialogues with you. We explain government policies to you. We are your partners in coming up with policies, with plans that make a real difference in your lives. In Siglap, for example, where I served, I've done over 320 dialogue sessions since 2020. And this is taking away the 2.5 years of COVID where we were not able to meet. So 320 dialogue sessions in round about 2.5 years. After the announcement of every budget, I would meet all my residents and explain the details of the budget and gather feedback. After every National Day rally, I would do the same. Apart from that, I would also explain announcements of changes in CPF policies, housing policies, etc. Correct, guys? So as PAP MPs, we share the thinking behind each policy so that you understand. And if there are aspects of the policy that affect you, we will bring it back to the ministries for them to consider adjusting the policies wherever possible. That is what PAP MPs do. We don't just talk, we act. Now, why do we do that? Because the PAP believes in partnership and building Singapore with you. Indeed, as I repeat myself, we are more than just being the voices of people in Parliament. The opposition may want to be the voices of the people in Parliament, but the PAP is your voice. And we are not just your voice. We are also your hands that do the work. These are the hands that do the work. We respond to your concerns, work with you to build strong communities. And in a changed world that you hear so much today, we bring you a fresh team and a new resolve to build an even stronger nation together. We are your voice and more. So, if we are your voice and more, who do you choose? I ask you again, if we are your voice and more, who do you choose? The answer is clear. Friends, I am not standing for this election, but my colleagues who will speak after me are standing for this election. I know them very well. Minister Indrani, Minister of State Desmond Tan, Mr. Cheryl Taha, and Ms. Verily Lee. They have what it takes to be your voice and more. Vote for them for a better Pasir Ris Changi and for a better Singapore. One more time I say, vote for this team for a better Pasir Ris Changi and for a better Singapore. To my Changi residents, the 14 years with you will remain with me for the rest of my life. The moments we share will be with us, the friendship will remain forever. The blood, the sweat, the tears will not go away. But I assure you, I hand you over to better pairs of hands here. Vote for this team. Vote for PAP. Majulah PAP. Majulah Singapura. Thank you.
Salam sejahtera. Vanakkam. Tatiang.
We will use other platforms and forums to get your input, including those online. Rest assured, you will drive the agenda for what needs to be done in Punggol, and we will be your servants. Yes, we will have our parliamentary duties if we are elected. There will be national issues to speak about, both concerns of residents in Punggol and our fellow Singaporeans. But these municipal issues on the ground, they affect all our daily lives. And our team will give them equal attention. We will do that. Now let me make this other point. The PAP team on the other side has 3 office holders. They have busy jobs downtown, but we will be here for you, listening and acting. And let me say this of myself. I have publicly said this, and I repeat this commitment to you, voters of Punggol GRC. If elected, I will give practically all of my time to you. And that's because I will be paring down my legal work and committing more and more time to you and fellow Singaporeans to talk about the things that are important for our country. I have that privilege, and I intend to use that privilege for all of you and for our fellow Singaporeans. So you will have my voters. If you vote our team in, Singaporeans save not one, not two, but 3 ministerial salaries. And there is something else that is beautiful. Vote us in, you will get the caliber of our team without having to pay 1 cent in ministerial salaries. And if we are voted in, I would like to say this to DPM Gun's good friend, the Prime Minister and Finance Minister. It is this, that if Punggol GRC voters vote in our team, Punggol would have saved Singapore one minister's, not just one minister's salary, but 3 ministers' salary. $1 million times 3 times 5 years, that's $15 million. Now, so you vote in our team, Singapore saves $15 million. Please, Mr. Finance Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, return some of that to Punggol. Because that $15 million was not raised but through GST or other taxes. It is brought to Singapore by the voters of Punggol GRC. And the only right and fair thing to do is to use some part of that to build covered walkways and everything else that Punggol residents tell us is a priority to be done. So DPM Gun, really you don't have to talk to your good friend. We have a solution here. Now next, ask yourself this. If the PAP is so confident that they have won the trust of Punggol residents and delivered, why did they have to parachute in DPM Gun at the very last minute? No, wait, no booing, please. It's a serious question. You remember, I have said publicly in my interview to the Straits Times that I do not want to be parachuted in anywhere safe, right? Now, I have searched all the news reports, and I have not found anything, any report where DPM Gun has said, I am sick and tired of this safe Chua Chu Kang GRC, and I want to be parachuted in somewhere unsafe. So why did they parachute DPM Gun into Punggol at the last minute? Why are they so insecure? I will tell you why. They know they have not given Punggol GRC residents their all. We, our team, will give you our all. Also, Mr. Gan Kim Yong has said that he will speak with his good friend, PM and Finance Minister Lawrence Wong, on funding for more walkways. Now, let me understand this. What was Senior Minister Teo Chee Hean doing 20 years when he was helming Punggol, Pasir Ris Punggol GRC? Was he not good friends with the Prime Minister? Did he not ask the Prime Minister for more support for necessary infrastructure upgrading in Punggol? Now, besides residents, let me make this other point. These are public funds. It does not matter whether we are or not good friends with the Prime Minister. It does not matter whether he accepts our offer to play the guitar and the saxophone together. If the infrastructure is good for residents, we too can ask for it, and that money must be provided because it is your money. Let me next come to the second big point that Punggol residents have asked us to address. Isn't there a risk, they say, that we might lose DPM Gun if we vote for the Workers' Party? Now, like I said, no booing any individual. That's not who we are, right? Let's deal with the issues. Let me start up by saying this. I like DPM Gun. We have met on the ground several times during this campaign, and he's a very pleasant person. But the question to ask is, who put DPM at risk in Punggol GRC? Meanwhile, Mr. Victor Lai is coasting in Ang Mo Kio. Let me tell you, there is really no worry about DPM leaving because he is 65 years old and has candidly admitted initially he was not keen to accept the DPM role. So we can thank DPM Gun for his service, but he reflects the past, not the future. Second, DPM Gun can still continue to contribute to Singapore even if he's not a political office holder. Remember Mr. Ng Chee Meng? You know, the government can make two roles available for Mr. Ng Chee Meng and DPM Gun after this election, and they can keep each other company. Third, this election is not about whether you have senior office holders in this GRC, it's about the future direction of this country. The PAP has lost their bearings, and let me explain why. Just a few days ago, Mr. Lawrence Wong said or warned against voting more opposition MPs because he said that will mean an additional wealth tax to those living in private estates and landed property. You know, I cannot imagine a statement that is more out of touch with what is happening on the ground and the anxiety of Singaporeans. Singapore's inequality has skyrocketed, and the Prime Minister is effectively saying to everyone, vote for the PAP so the rich in private estates and landed property do not have to worry about paying more from proposals on increasing the wealth tax. When the Prime Minister or the PAP warns about more taxes for landed property owners, you know who they're worried about. It is not you. That is what I mean when I say the direction is completely wrong. Now, the responsible who are rich or the responsible rich in Singapore know that inequality is a threat and we need to address it. The Workers' Party will address it. We will speak up boldly for ordinary Singaporeans. Now, let me next say this. What is critical for us on the other side is fair politics and accountability. What has been said about the Allianz deal? Mr. Ng Chee Meng was head of NTUC at the time, and he saw no problem with it. He dropped the ball. We now know that DPM Gun also had a role in the transaction because he was chairman of MAS, the regulator ultimately deciding whether to approve this transaction or not. Mr. Tan Swee Chee has now written an open letter to all residents of Punggol GRC asking serious questions of DPM Gun. So let me say this to DPM Gun, and I say this respectfully. DPM Gun, will you answer Mr. Tan Swee Chee's questions? Because they are important questions being asked on behalf of all Singaporeans. And DPM Gun, if you will not answer, please tell us why you will not answer. Because this is about accountability, and real leadership never fears scrutiny. It welcomes it. So let me very quickly wrap up my third point. Will there be instability if you vote the opposition? The answer is no. Make no mistake, in this election, the PAP will be returned to power. Mr. Lawrence Wong will be Prime Minister. He will be supported by the civil service, and President Tharman is there as the final check. And you will have a strong, loyal opposition, one loyal to Singaporeans. That, my friends, that does not weaken Singapore. That makes Singapore stronger. True stability comes from confidence, not from controlling 90% of Parliament. Now, your vote is going to be an important signal to the government. They will be looking at two things. What is the PAP's vote in this election? Will it go below 60%? And if so, how much? 58, 57? And they will be looking at how many more GRCs and SMCs does the work hand?
Good evening. voters of Punggol, and all Singaporeans. Have you been affected by the super fast rising cost of living? My colleagues and I did what we could in Parliament to stop the PAP from raising the GST when inflation was raging. After the first increase from 7% to 8%, we said to the PAP, defer the increase you had planned before COVID and before the Russia-Ukraine war. The PAP says that the whole world was facing inflation. Yes, it's true that inflation worsened as we exited COVID and galloped further ahead with the Russia-Ukraine war. But which ruling party anywhere in the world increased goods and services taxes when the winds of inflation were raging the strongest? Which government turbocharged inflation with a consumption tax hike? Nobody did except the PAP. The PAP says there will be increases in healthcare, expenditure and other costs, and revenue is needed. Yes, both a growing population and an aging population mean higher government spending. But let me ask you, could the GST increase have been postponed? Of course it could have been postponed. After COVID, there was a political window to defer raising GST and give Singaporeans some breathing space. But when the Workers' Party questioned the PAP in Parliament during the budget debate this year, the Prime Minister responded to my speech asking, how did the PAP turbocharge inflation? Doesn't he know? The Monetary Authority of Singapore, which is under the Prime Minister's office, told Parliament in 2024 that a GST hike could increase inflation by up to 40%. Isn't that turbocharging? Singaporeans have had to tighten our belts due to the worst inflation we have seen in decades. Everything is more expensive. Even these elections are more expensive. In 2020, each candidate could spend $4 per voter. Now, the elections department has increased this to $5 per voter. 25% more. Not 2% more, huh? Food prices in hawker centers have increased by just as much, if not more. Many Singaporeans rely on CPF retirement payouts because they have stopped working. These payouts do not increase with inflation, and so our seniors are hard hit. The real tragedy is the PAP had enough fiscal room to avoid making things worse for Singaporeans. For this past parliamentary term, we know that the government had a surplus of more than $14 billion. With such a surplus, will the PAP now have the courage to admit that the decision to raise the GST in 2023 and 2024 was poorly timed? There is still time for the PAP to admit to this and apologize. Polling day is on Saturday. Still got time. I said in Parliament that only the PAP can answer to Singaporeans why it raised the GST when it did. We are still waiting for a sensible answer. Because all the surpluses for this term, as per our constitution, have been locked up in the reserves and cannot be used for current spending. After the PM questioned where the turbocharging on inflation was, one of his ministers said, we can debate about the best time to have a GST hike. But my fellow Singaporeans, we do not need to debate this. A political party which claims it has the back of Singaporeans should not worsen cost of living pain by increasing GST when inflation is already raging. No government in the world will do this if it has got the back of its citizens. And to rub salt into the wound, one PAP MP in Parliament, in supporting the PAP GST hike, said that while, and I quote, we do not like any pain at all, a little pain is necessary because it is what makes us alert, it is what keeps us alive. Singaporeans are asking, why did the PAP have to inflict more pain on us? We are already in pain because of global inflation. Why must you make things worse? But even as we wait long for a satisfactory answer, we must ask a fundamental question. All of us must ask a fundamental question. How does the PAP get away with such decisions, such as increasing GST at such a bad time? The answer is simple. The political pressure that it faces from elected Workers' Party MPs is not enough for now. So you might reasonably ask, if Workers' Party MPs were not able to stop the GST increases, why elect us? Let me give you two reasons. One reason is this. The PAP cares deeply about its percentage of votes and the number of seats it wins. Vote share and seats are how PAP politicians judge each other. These are the PAP's KPIs. You as the voter can tell the PAP what you want by voting for the Workers' Party. When the PAP loses votes and seats to the Workers' Party, it has to take corrective action. It will think twice or even 3 times before further raising the GST or implementing other policies that people object to. Or at the very least, the PAP will consider the timing of their policies much more carefully. That would be an excellent outcome for Singapore. The second reason to vote the Workers' Party is this. When there are Workers' Party MPs in Parliament, we ask the questions that Singaporeans want to ask. The PAP has no choice but to try to justify its decisions and actions in Parliament. And when we offer alternative policies, we put such options into public discussion, and the PAP must respond. The Workers' Party is not naive, nor are we populist. We are a party that does its homework. We know that Singapore will have rising expenditures in healthcare and increased HDB subsidies to finance HDB's deficit. But who should determine how future spending should be funded? Not the PAP on its own. It should be Singaporeans. If you give us your vote, the Workers' Party will debate with the PAP on this and represent you faithfully. Without the Workers' Party working for Singapore in Parliament, the PAP will have a free rein to do whatever it wants. And when you give feedback that you are in pain, what will a PAP MP whose party has a supermajority in Parliament tell you? He will tell you, pain is good. It makes you feel alive. From 2020 to 2024, about $115 billion from NIRC contributions were added to our reserves. This $115 billion is the investment return from our reserves, and it
includes things such as dividends from our assets. Up to 50% can be used for the yearly budget of the NIRC, but the other 50% goes back into the reserves. Following the rules in the Constitution, not a cent of this investment return that goes back into the reserves can be spent to help Singaporeans today. For comparison, about $43 billion was spent to fight COVID. The PAP said this represented 20 years worth of past budget surpluses. 20 years. But the $115 billion collected through NIRC receipts from 2020 to 2024, which went into the reserves, is close to 3 times the amount of money spent to fight COVID, which the PAP called the crisis of a generation. And the $115 billion was accumulated in just 5 years. With so much accumulated, could the PAP have postponed or even cancelled the GST increase? Yes, it could have. On the use of the reserves to fight COVID, the Workers' Party, specifically the Sengkang GRC MP, Mr. Louis Chua, asked the PAP a direct question in Parliament. And it was this. After the largest withdrawal of our reserves since independence to fight COVID, he asked, were our total reserves higher or lower than before COVID? The PAP couldn't even give a straight answer. Instead, the PAP said the reserves continue to grow. That was not the question. To the PAP, just answer the question. Now let's be clear. Saving for the future is certainly a good thing. It is prudent. But in Singapore, with more than 80% of land in government hands, Singaporeans should never be shy to ponder and ask, how much is enough for the reserves? Under what circumstances should or can we use it to look after our people? We live in a country where CPF retirement payouts are not inflation indexed, and where parents wonder if their children will be able to afford HDB flats, much less private property. We must continue to question, in good faith, whether we are overburdening the current generations, even as we look to secure Singapore for future generations. My fellow Singaporeans, there is nothing wrong with asking such questions. But I have not heard any PAP MP ask the tough questions. Nor have I heard many of them ask tough questions that directly question PAP government policy. As for DPM Gan Kim Yong, the leader of the PAP Punggol GRC team, should Punggol voters choose him and his team? Let me share a fact about Mr. Gan. In the PAP's party elections in November 2024, just last year, he was not elected into the PAP Central Executive Committee. This is very strange for a Deputy Prime Minister. Could it be that he was ready to retire and did not plan to run in these elections? If so, can he be so critical to the PM's plans? You mean the PM has no one else in his cabinet that can negotiate with the United States on tariffs? If this is true, to quote Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong, "Si liao la." Remember what happened to DPM Heng when he abandoned Tampines GRC at the last minute to contest East Coast GRC in GE2020. He was supposed to be our next Prime Minister, all lined up, ready to take off. But then the PAP tells us, sorry, runway too short. Beside point. DPM Heng has now retired from politics, but I am sure he will continue to contribute to Singapore. Voters of Punggol, Mr. Gan Kim Yong is older than the now retired DPM Heng. If elected, in my view, he's going to be a one-term MP. DPM Gun says he and the PM are friends. I am sorry, Pongol, but I cannot say that the Prime Minister and I are friends. But do I need to be his friend for taxpayer funding to be allocated to Pongol? No! As a Singaporean, I expect fair allocation of taxpayer resources to all our people. And the civil service will allocate funds and projects fairly. Here are just a few reasons why I say so. In my ward of Eunos in Aljunied GRC, despite being in Workers' Party's hands for the last 14 years, a polyclinic will open next year. The Eastern General Hospital is also under construction in the Eunos ward of Aljunied GRC. There are 2 MRT stations in my ward, both of which were built after 2011. The PAP has learned through the years that putting opposition wards last for upgrading and last for national projects creates a backlash against them in all constituencies in Singapore. So I have every confidence Pongol will be well served. And if not, I invite the PAP Pongol team to list for the people of Pongol which projects and which initiatives you will cancel if you lose Pongol GRC. Say so now, so we can see how much you really care for the residents of Pongol. What about in Parliament? Which candidates will make a greater difference for you? 3 of the PAP Pongol candidates are political office holders, as the leader of the WP Pongol team, Mr. Harpreet Singh, has shared. 3 of them being political office holders, do you think they can question the government? They are the government. Who will ask the hard questions in Parliament if there are concerns from Pongol residents? Only the WP Pongol candidates. Now, in my party political broadcast that was televised last week, I shared that in March 2023, despite their super majority, the PAP almost could not pass an amendment to our constitution in Parliament. Lucky for them, there were Workers' Party MPs around. In our parliamentary democracy, do you know whose job it is to ensure that there are enough PAP MPs around to vote on laws proposed by the PAP government? One man has this responsibility in Parliament. It is the government whip. Do you know who that person was in March 2023? It was the PAP Pongol team's very own Janil Puthucheary. As all NS men know, you must always check strength. You must make sure no soldier is left behind. This is drummed into SAF commanders when they are NSFs. But in March 2023, Janil Puthucheary did not ensure there were enough PAP MPs around to vote for a PAP government's constitutional amendment. But lucky for him, the Workers' Party MPs were present and ready to work for Singapore. Residents of Punggol, only the opposition can challenge and push the PAP to listen harder and to explain and defend its position. And if it is clear that there is far stronger public support for the Workers' Party's position, the PAP will have to change course. We are here to make the PAP more sensitive to your needs and your concerns. A PAP MP will simply defend the PAP at all costs. In the previous term of government, one PAP MP, in order to promote skills upgrading, proposed that university degrees should expire after 5 years. How do the PAP MPs come up with such proposals? I think their super majority, the overconfidence created by having more than 90% of the seats in parliament is the reason why. Let's just unpack this expiring degrees proposal. You mean parents are supposed to spend a bomb on their children's university education only for the degree to expire? And this is after negotiating one of the most stressful education systems in the world. Why should our degrees expire? So that the PAP can push skills upgrading through crazy ideas that don't make sense. My fellow Singaporeans, lionesses and lions of Punggol, general elections come around only once every 5 years. It is really tough for the opposition to assemble a slate as strong as the one you have before you in Harpreet Singh, Alexis Tang Pei Yen, Jackson Au, and Alia Mata. Punggol team, please stand up and let our voters see you. A vote for the PAP in Punggol will not result in a more balanced political system for Singapore. The PAP does not need your vote to form the government, but your vote is really precious for the Workers' Party. We ask you to vote in Singapore's interest and help Singapore achieve a more balanced parliament where your voice is heard. Punggol GRC, your role in these elections is very significant. You see how the PAP government shifts electoral boundaries every 5 years. About 1 month before the elections, the PAP government announced that MacPherson SMC, where they secured a healthy majority in the past elections, suddenly became part of Marine Parade GRC. Is this acceptable? But the terrain in Punggol is different. How much can the PAP government shift electoral boundaries here? Not as much as in Marine Parade Braddell Heights GRC. The PAP government's electoral boundary review committee cannot merge Punggol GRC into Johor. By the next elections, Marine Parade Braddell Heights can easily see its boundaries change again in the future. It can become Braddell Heights, Potong Pasir GRC, or Mountbatten SMC can be brought into Marine Parade Braddell Heights GRC. Who knows? These changes may harm the Workers' Party's chances of building a more balanced political system. So Punggol, you can send a strong message to the PAP. You can change some electoral boundaries every year, but don't mess with Pongal. Don't mess with Singaporeans. My dear voters of Pongal, if you vote the Workers' Party, you will be doing an incredible service to the nation. Service based on justice and equality. You will show the PAP the limits and futility of redrawing boundaries and announcing them just 1 or 2 months before general elections. This will hit the PAP government hard, right between the eyes. But if you vote for the Workers' Party, it will also be in line with PM Lawrence Wong's Forward Singapore vision of a new social compact with Singaporeans. One where all of us matter equally. Pongal, your mission, should you choose to accept it, will benefit not just you, but all Singaporeans who want a fair and accountable electoral boundary review process, so that we remain on track to be a society based on justice and equality. Pongal GRC, elect the Workers' Party candidates. This is not mission impossible, it is mission possible. You can do it! Vote for the Workers' Party, working for Singapore. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor and great pleasure to introduce the final speaker of this rally. She is the leader of the Sengkang GRC team, and her name is Herting Roe.
Residents of Pongal GRC. Residents. Residents of Pongal GRC. Jalan Kayu SMC and Sengkang GRC. Good evening. 在2020年当选的时候，我曾经向大家承诺过，无论你们当时票投给谁，只要是盛港的居民，我们就会为你奋斗。今天，与林志威、蔡清威和加入我们团队的穆海明，再次希望赢得大家的信赖，让我们继续为盛港在国会和盛港打拼。我们希望可以在前5年的基础上，继续巩固得来不易的成就，为盛港接下来5年的发展继续努力。我们要争取连任。面前的挑战十分严峻，不过有大家的支持，我们会无畏无惧奋斗下去，绝对不会辜负各位的寄托和期望。5月3号，各位面对投票箱，请大家把手中神圣的那一票投给工人党，让我们跟大家一起向前进。 Today, I want to talk about my vision for Singapore. In this changed world, I have a vision for Singapore, a healthier Singapore. A healthier Singapore where our people don't just struggle to keep up, but a Singapore where our people flourish. To build a healthier Singapore, we need a healthier political system, a healthier Singapore where we don't just react to illness, but have space for health to flourish, clean air, healthy food, green spaces, fair wages, and strong communities. A healthier Singapore is also one where a town council can succeed, whether it is opposition run or PAP control. Against the odds, we've shown in Sengkang, this can be done. When we were elected MPs after GE2020, the WP team were faced with a task of taking over a town council from 2 town councils, from 2 different managing agents. We had to harmonize in the midst of disruptions caused by COVID. When both managing agents refused to extend their contracts beyond 2023, we took the difficult decision to directly run SKTC. Sengkang Town Council hired directly and set up teams from scratch. We were supported by the experience of party colleagues and professionals working in town management, for which we are deeply grateful. Sengkang Town Council achieved a clean audit for all its financial reports and achieved a green banding since the start for HDB's TCMR report in 3 out of 4 categories, including cleanliness. For arrears management, SKTC was banded amber after we took over. And through the hard work of the team, brought it back into the green band for financial year 2023. Sengkang Town Council also had a consistent green banding in its governance reports between financial year 2021 to financial year 2023. A healthier Singapore is one where a strong parliament, not just a strong government, puts the well-being of Singaporeans at the heart of its policies. Not one where the few in power decide that they know best for the many. A healthier Singapore is one where we have more voices in Parliament. With more of us in Parliament, we have more time to speak up, more space to scrutinize bad policies, and more weight to push for policies that benefit more Singaporeans. We have seen this work before. Last year, WP MPs led the charge in Parliament against the sale of NTUC income in August. The PAP government heard the people loud and clear. They rushed to pass legislation a few months later to block the sale. Then the Workers' Party abstained because existing MAS powers would have allowed the same result without new legislation. And I explained this in Parliament. That is why the WP did what any responsible opposition should do. Agree with the outcome, but not oppose the rushed legislation for the sake of opposing. Overreacting and passing new legislation to give the government new powers it doesn't need is bad for the rule of law. And the main takeaway from the botched alliance deal is this: the government responds to the opposition. It responds to you. But even when the government overreacts, the opposition can be trusted to keep the wheel steady. So, when enough public pressure builds, when enough opposition MPs voice concerns, the government U-turns. We've seen it before. We've seen it with the blocking of the NTUC income deal, with CPF housing rules, with cost of living relief. So yes, your vote, your voice matters towards a healthier Singapore. We know the sun doesn't rise because of us, but we can certainly make the PAP wake up its idea. Because a healthier opposition isn't just built on policies alone. It is built off the back of its people, on our strength, on our compassion, our courage. We see so many of you doing the work to keep our nation going. You do so quietly, caring for an aging parent, helping a neighbor who struggles, mentoring a youth who has lost their way. It is why we have fought hard to measure your contributions in ways that our current measure of GDP does not. Like good health, it is easy to take the presence of a loyal, responsible opposition as a given. Yet, have we ever truly stopped to pause and think about what the health of a political system would be if we fail to elect enough opposition MPs to Parliament? 10 years ago, this nearly happened. Faced with widespread fears about a freak election making the PAP lose power, we instead nearly face a wipeout of elected opposition MPs. Mr. Lau Thea Kiang's Aljunied GRC team narrowly scraped through with less than 51% of the votes that year. If we had lost Aljunied GRC with just one or no opposition MPs elected into Parliament, do you think that the PAP will listen to you? Do you think that we can count on only our nominated MPs to uphold the health of our political system? No! Just a few days before Budget 2025, 2 NMPs stepped down because they suddenly thought that they wanted to become elected. And under the PAP banner. Perhaps someone should ask them what they believe elected MPs can do that NMPs cannot. Dear voters, I call on you today, let us not again risk losing elected opposition MPs in Parliament. Instead, vote to build a healthier Singapore, one that sees you, supports you, and works with you. 5 years ago, you made your vote count and elected the Workers' Party Sengkang GRC team into Parliament. Today, we are asking that you vote once again to allow the Workers' Party to continue working for Singapore, not just in Sengkang, but in Hougang, Aljunied, Punggol, Tampines, Jalan Kayu, East Coast, and Tampines Changkat. Vote for the Workers' Party so that we can, all of us, continue to work together for our beloved country, our Singapore. Let us work to build a stronger, healthier Singapore in order to face the stormy seas together. Thank you.
We have come to the end of the Workers' Party's rally. Please look out for our next rally in the news and in our social media. At this point, we would like to advise everyone to disperse in an orderly and safe manner via the 2 exits. Please do take guidance from the police and the signages. 感谢大家的热情参与，今晚的群众大会到此结束，请大家有秩序、安全离开场地。大选期间，我们也将在其他选区举办群众大会，我们会把日期、时间和地点发到工人党的社交媒体账号，请您关注且留意。谢谢大家。Thank you. Please have a safe trip home. Take photo.
Have built on those who have come before them. For SM Teo, this constituency, he started out here in 97. It was originally Pasir Ris GRC, and then it became bigger, and it became Pasir Ris Punggol GRC. And many residents have told me they are sad to see him retire. He was MP here when Pasir Ris was new, and you have grown and journeyed with him. Your children have grown up with him. Your grandchildren have seen him and grown up with him too. So some have asked me, can you fill his shoes? Well, have you seen how tall and how big SM Teo is? The answer is no. No, I can't. But what I can do and what I will do is I will serve with the same dedication and the same passion that he has for all of you. And I and our team promise that we will build on all he has done. And so long as we are here, SM Teo will always be welcome back to see his family here in Pasir Ris Changi. Actually, in a way, SM also was the one who started me on my journey into politics, because my very first tea session with him, well, my very first tea session, a PPT session, was by him. He hosted it, and I was late. And I was like, oh dear, you know, it's so terrible, right? I come late for this tea session. But he was very kind, he was very generous, very calm, told me, don't worry, settle down. And I left that meeting thinking, wow, sure, you know, very bad impression created. But for some reason, he thought I had some potential. So he sent me up along the chain, and I really didn't think that fateful day when I had tea with him, that one day I would be taking over as the lead anchor for his constituency. But when I was asked, I promised SM Teo that I will look after you and make sure that his residents are taken care of. So of that, you can be sure. SM Teo and I also go back in a different way. He was the Minister for Defense. And at one point, I was also the GPC chairman, the Government Parliamentary Chairperson for Defense. But of course, and the first woman, right, who was GPC for Defense. And then people are like, well, what do you know about NS? So I was like, okay, fair enough. I haven't done NS, but since I'm GPC chair, I feel I need to find out more. So I went to SAF and I said, can you allow me to do the SOC? And they thought, maybe let's ask SM Teo, at that time Minister for Defense. And he was horrified. He's like, not going to let me anywhere near the standard optical course, okay? But he said, if you really want, you can do the IPPT. So I said, okay, fine, I will do the IPPT. And I did it together with Jessica. And yeah, we both passed. Actually, Jessica aced it, I passed it. But never mind, we both got over that hurdle. But what came out of it, right? What came out of it was this. As a result, SM then put me on ACCORD, which is the Advisory Council on Community Relations in Defense. And because at that time, this was back in the 2000s, I don't know how many of you remember, but for those of you who are in reservists, or operationally ready NS men, as the term is, you would have known that at that time, there were centers for you to train. But it was quite difficult for those who are working to go off to train for your IPPT in those centers. And when I was training for IPPT, I had exactly the same problem because I couldn't find a place to do my chin-ups. And for the women, it's different, right? Because the women, you do your chin-ups at a 45-degree angle and at a slant, not the other bars. And I was having great difficulty finding a place to train. And when I was in ACCORD, I said to the committee, you know, if you want our NS guys or our reservists to be able to train, the facilities have to come closer to them. And out of that was born that idea, which you see today in many places, of having your IPPT training track and other equipment near to you. So the Pinnacle, you go to the Pinnacle on at Duxton at the 26th story, there is a running track there, and it's specially calibrated for those who want to train for the IPPT. So I tell you this only because SM Teo was willing to give or to work with female who had, for the first time, chairing GPC, willing to take on board ideas which benefited, hopefully, other NS men. Not my idea alone. MINDEF had a lot to do with it, being willing to take it on board. And I give credit to all the other people who worked on this. But this is what the PAP does. It's willing to work with people, to be open, to hear your ideas, and then to implement it so that there is something better for everyone. I want to thank M. Maliki as well, because he's done a great job with Changi, and I want to welcome the residents of Changi Division into the GRC. Changi is a wonderful addition, as we have seen. It brings character and heritage to this electoral division. And we look forward to connecting Pasir Ris and Changi so that we have a great GRC. And residents have asked, what are our plans for the division? Well, we will carry on the development plans which have already started under SMTO's leadership. We will connect the divisions in the GRC to each other and the entire GRC to other areas. So by rail, as you know, we're going to have 4 new stations on the Cross Island Line at Loyang, Pasir Ris East, Pasir Ris, and Elias. And then the whole GRC will be linked to Changi Airport, to Punggol, and to Jurong. And then we'll also be linked by road. The Loyang Viaduct is being constructed. Not yesterday, but the other day as we were campaigning, we saw the information office, the LTA information office. So we popped in to find out a little more, and they told us that the viaduct will be completed in 2028. And when completed, it will be one of the longest and the most ambitious viaducts that we have built, and it will connect us to Tampines and beyond. Currently, we know that there's some disamenities because of the construction, but when everything is completed, Pasir Ris Changi is going to be one of the most connected places because you're going to be connected to the east, the west, and you're going to be connected down to Tampines, and basically it will be a lot more convenient for all the residents here. We will also revitalize the town. Over the next 5 years, we will have a revitalized town with updated facilities. Every neighborhood in Pasir Ris is being renewed. But we will also address the last mile gaps, linkways, barrier-free access, all these small but very important things. We also want to make Pasir Ris Changi a place for active and healthy aging. In Tanjung Pagar, the residents were older. Many were pioneer generation. I've come here to Pasir Ris Changi, and I see you have more of the Merdeka generation. But the advantage of having come from some place which has a lot of older residents is that I can see ahead some of the things that you will need in 5 years and 10 years' time. And I would like, if elected, to start working with the agencies to prepare for this ahead of time so that when the time comes, yourselves, your parents, your grandparents will be able to have a much easier and better time of moving around. Our GRC has beautiful parks and nature. I see residents exercising everywhere. We will leverage these assets to build health in conjunction with national programs. For social matters, on our engagements, residents have told us about their concerns about various issues. We know cost of living is on your minds. Young residents worry about whether they can get internships and jobs when they graduate. The older residents are concerned about jobs and age discrimination. The PAP has plans to address this at a national level, but we will also explore plans at a local level. So we do have exciting plans for Pasir Ris Changi, but to put these into action, we need your support. We need your vote. And at the broader national level, we need a good leadership team. Today, PM Wong spoke at the Fullerton rally. Please catch the Fullerton rally on TV, on YouTube, if you haven't seen it yet. There is much to do and much is at stake. So a vote for the PAP is not just a vote for PM Wong's team. It is a vote for your team. It is a vote for Team Singapore. So for that reason, I ask all of you, vote PAP. Give us your mandate. Give us the chance to do everything that we can for Pasir Ris Changi and for Singapore. Vote PAP. Majulah PAP, Majulah Singapura. Majulah PAP, Majulah Singapura. Majulah PAP, Majulah Singapura. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Pasir Ris Changi, make some noise! Our bond is unbreakable. Nam ஒன்றாக இருந்தால் எதையும் வெல்ல முடியும்.
Bila kita bersama, kita akan berjaya.
团结就是力量. Let's keep Pasir Ris Changi strong, united, and moving forward with our PAP team.
Once again, you guys have been a wonderful audience. My name is Tish.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Eugene. Thanks for coming.
And we wish you a very good night.
Thank you for coming. Now, for safety reasons, as you leave, please take note, we have gate 1 right behind you and gate 3 to my right and right behind me. Now, just take note that as you make it through gate 3, when it gets crowded, we'll be closing that gate shortly. So we ask that most of the residents, where you can, please leave the venue from gate 1 that's just right behind.